The sound hit the room before the pain did. Porcelain shattered. Hot coffee splashed across the checkered floor. And right in the middle of that mess, a young waitress lay trembling, trying not to cry in front of a room full of strangers. Then came the worst part. Laughter. Sharp. Cruel. Not from a drunk, not from a teenager, but from a man in uniform. People shifted in their seats, eyes dropping to their plates. No one moved. No one spoke. No one, except the quiet man who had just walked through the door. He didn't shout. He didn't throw a punch. He did something far more powerful. And what happened next would change that small town more than any arrest ever could. Before we get into this story of courage and unexpected kindness, take a quick second to support Kindness Valley. Hit subscribe, tap the like button if stories like this speak to you, and tell us your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps us share more stories that prove one simple thing: kindness still matters. The diner sat just off a lonely Texas highway, the kind of place where the coffee is burnt, the pie is sweet, and everybody knows at least half the room by name. Farmers, truckers, retirees, line cooks from the shop down the road. They all ended up here sooner or later. On most days, Lily blended into the background. She was 22 with tired eyes and a hopeful smile. She had taken the night shift at the nursing home, then came straight here to start her morning shift at the diner. School bills, her mom's medication rent, every tip mattered. That morning, she'd slept maybe 3 hours. She still tied her hair back, pinned on her name tag, and told herself the same thing she always did: just get through today. One good shift at a time. By noon, the place was humming. Silverware clinked, a jukebox played an old country song, and the smell of bacon and coffee hung in the air. That's when he walked in. A police officer, tall, solid, swagger in every step. His uniform was crisp, his boots polished, his eyes scanning the room like he owned it. A couple of regulars nodded politely. One man straightened up a little in his seat. The badge had that effect. Lily did what she always did. She grabbed a menu, put on her best smile, and walked over. "Good afternoon, officer." "Table for one." He slid into the booth without looking at her. "Coffee. Black. And whatever's fastest." "Right away," she said, and turned toward the counter. That's when it happened. 3 steaming cups balanced on a tray. 1 step. 2 steps. Her heel caught on something. Or someone. To this day, people who were there swear they saw it. The slight, deliberate movement of his boot. Just enough. The world tilted. The tray flew from her hands. Cups exploded against the tile. Hot coffee splashed up her arms and across the floor. She hit the ground hard. The diner went dead quiet. For half a second, all you could hear was the hiss of the coffee machine and the slight, broken gasp that escaped Lily's lips. Then came the laugh. Not a nervous chuckle. Not an oops, accidents happen kind of sound. A full, open, shameless laugh from the officer. "Guess somebody doesn't know how to walk," he said loudly. A fork froze halfway to someone's mouth. An older couple stared, horrified. A kid in the corner watched, frowning, eyes wide. Lily's hands shook as she pushed herself up. Her knee throbbed. Her cheeks burned so hot she thought her skin might peel. "And still, because that's what people like her are taught to do," she whispered. I'm so sorry," as if it were her fault. The officer leaned back in his seat, smirking. "Yeah, next time watch where you're going." The bell over the door chimed. Most people didn't look up. They were too busy pretending they hadn't seen what just happened. But the man who walked in did look. He saw everything. He wasn't dressed like a movie star. Just jeans, boots, and a worn jacket. He moved with the quiet ease of someone who knew exactly who he was and didn't need to prove it to anyone. Some recognized him immediately. Others just felt it. The shift in the air. The calm authority that didn't come with a badge. It was Chuck Norris. He hadn't come looking for trouble. Just a late lunch, a hot coffee, and a moment of quiet on a long drive through Texas. But trouble had a way of finding him, and cruelty had a way of pulling him to his feet. He walked straight past the officer without a word and knelt down beside Lily. "Take your time," he said softly. "Don't rush. Are you hurt?" His voice was gentle, steady. No cameras, no crowd, no performance. Just a man talking to another human being as if she actually mattered. Lily swallowed hard. "I'm okay, I think. My knee hurts a little." Chuck offered his hand. "Let's get you sitting first. Then we'll figure the rest out." He helped her to a nearby booth, slow and careful, like she was made of glass and dignity at the same time. He grabbed some napkins, started picking up the bigger pieces of broken cup, placing them on the tray she'd dropped. The owner rushed over, red-faced and flustered. Lily, I'm so sorry I didn't see. Officer, is everything all right? This is... Chuck stood, setting the tray on the counter. His voice was calm, but the edges were firm. She doesn't need apologies for making you look bad, he said to the owner, then turned his gaze to the officer. She needs respect. The officer stopped smirking. He sized Chuck up, eyes narrowing. Recognition flickered for a moment, then arrogance washed over it. You got something to say, old man? He asked, a laugh in his voice that didn't reach his eyes. Chuck didn't take the bait. He didn't raise his voice. He just stepped closer. Steady, grounded. I do, he said quietly. I want to know what part of your training says it's okay to trip someone carrying hot coffee, laugh when they fall, and then make them apologize to you. A couple of people shifted forward in their booth, suddenly very interested in their refills. The officer shrugged. She fell. That's not my problem. Chuck tilted his head slightly. Accidents don't shove their foot in the way. And accidents don't laugh. The room went still again, but this time the silence felt different. Less afraid. More waiting. You don't tell me how to do my job, the officer snapped, standing up now, chest puffed, trying to tower over him. Chuck didn't flinch. You're right, he said. I don't, but I can remind you of something your badge is supposed to stand for. He glanced around the diner, making eye contact with a few of the customers. Real strength, he continued, turning back to the officer, is how you treat people who have nothing to offer you. No power, no rank, no way to fight back. No one reached for their phones this time. They just watched. The officer's jaw clenched. You think being some movie star makes you better than me? Chuck gave a small, almost sad smile. Fame doesn't make anyone better, he said. But character does. And right now, in front of all these people, your character is showing. The bell over the door chimed again. This time, it was another uniform. A sergeant, by the look of him. He scanned the room, already frowning. We got a call, he said. What's going on here? For a moment, no one spoke. Then a woman in the corner lifted her hand slightly. I saw it, she said. Her voice shook at first, then steadied. He stuck his foot out. She fell, and he laughed. A man at the counter chimed in. Same here. One by one, people who'd been silent just minutes before found their voices. The sergeant listened, face slowly tightening. Then he turned to his officer. Is that what happened? He asked. The officer shifted his weight. They're exaggerating. She tripped. That's it. The sergeant looked at Lily, small, scared, still holding an ice pack Chuck had found from the kitchen. Then he looked at Chuck. Sir? He asked quietly. You see it. Chuck didn't puff himself up. He didn't throw his name around. I saw a young woman do her job, he said. And I saw a man in uniform make her feel smaller than the dirt on his boots. That's what I saw. The sergeant's eyes hardened. Officer outside. Now, the younger man opened his mouth to argue, then caught the look in his superior's eyes. The two officers stepped out. Through the diner windows, people saw hands moving, sharp words exchanged, the sergeant's finger pointing back toward the diner. After a few tense minutes, the younger officer walked to his car, face red, shoulders tight, and drove away. The sergeant came back inside. He approached Lily first. Ma'am, he said, voice low, on behalf of the department. I'm sorry. That's not how any of us are supposed to act. There will be consequences. Lily nodded, still overwhelmed. Thank you, she whispered. The sergeant nodded to Chuck. There was respect in the gesture. Thank you for stepping in, he said. Chuck shook his head. Thank her, he replied, nodding at Lily. She's the one who showed up to work hurt and still tried to apologize to someone who hurt her. The tension in the diner broke into soft conversations. Nervous laughs and long breaths finally let out. Chuck slid into the booth across from Lily. How's the knee? He asked. Sore? She said, managing a tiny smile. But I think I'll live. Good, he said. The world needs more people who keep going, even on the hard days. She blinked back tears. Why did you? She struggled to find the words. You didn't have to do any of that. Chuck looked at her, really looked at her. The exhaustion, the fear, the quiet strength. That's exactly why I did, he said. Because too many people see things like that and tell themselves, it's not my business. But kindness only works when somebody decides it is their business. Before he left, Chuck asked for the check. The owner handed it over, but Chuck slid his credit card across the counter and said, For everyone, today's on me. gasps, and grateful murmurs rippled through the room. He wrote something on the back of Lily's receipt, folded it once, and handed it to her. "Don't read it until I'm gone," he said with a small grin. He shook a few hands, gave the kid in the corner a wink, and walked out as quietly as he had walked in. No speech, no cameras, no roundhouse kick. Just a door closing softly behind him. Lily waited until the rush had slowed. Then, with shaking fingers, she unfolded the note. In neat handwriting, it read, "Real power isn't in your fists or your title. It's in the way you treat people when no one is watching. Never let anyone convince you you're small." Chuck Norris. She tucked the note into her wallet. Years later, she would still carry it. She'd read it on the days nursing school felt impossible. She'd touch it before long shifts at the hospital when patients yelled and cried, and fear filled every hallway. She graduated. She became a nurse. And every time she saw someone being spoken to like they were less than human, she remembered a Texas diner, broken coffee cups, and a quiet man who chose kindness over ego. As for that officer, he didn't lose his badge that day. But he did face an investigation, mandatory retraining, and months of knowing a whole town had seen exactly who he really was. Word spread. Not because of a celebrity in the room, but because of what he did with his influence. Parents told their kids the story. Teachers shared it in classrooms. "Don't be the one who laughs when someone falls," they said. "Be the one who reaches out a hand." Because in the end, that was the real lesson. Kindness doesn't always come with bright lights, heroic music, or applause. Most of the time, it walks in quietly, sees something wrong, and decides, "This time I'm not looking away." If this story moved you, don't let it end here. Be the person who speaks up. Be the one who helps someone off the floor, literally or figuratively. Share this video with someone who needs a reminder that compassion is still the strongest force we have.